welcome back to Design Bundle's YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Crystal, and today I'm going to be using one of our very popular SVG files, an explosion box. So today we are going to make our very own DIY 3D explosion box. Now I've cut this out with my Cricut Explorer 3 back here. So I've already pre-cut everything, but I'm going to show you guys how to put it together. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so as you guys can see, I have pre-cut everything here for us. It's super duper easy. I'm going to show you guys a little sneak peek of the Cricut Design Space, how I cut this out, kind of laying it up. Now, I didn't change a thing. So I cut this out the exact same dimensions that it's going to come right inside of Cricut Design Space. I just sent it straight to be cut out, brought in my layers, and then from there, I was able to use 5 sheets of cardstock. And like I said, I'm going to show you in a second how I eliminated one of those sheets by maneuvering one of the pieces. So like I said, I kept it the size that it already was. So this is going to make a perfect 3D explosion box. So like I said, I've already cut it out, and you could do this in whatever color you wanted to. You could multiple layers. So you could do a whole rainbow if you wanted to. But what I did was I stuck with 2 different colors here. I've cut out all of my pieces like so. Now, these right here did not come pre-scored. You could definitely adjust those inside of Cricut Design Space. If you guys would like to see something like that, let me know, and I'll definitely do a tutorial on it. But today, I'm actually going to be using my Cricut paper trimmer, which I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how we're going to do that here in just a bit. So I'm going to use my paper trimmer. We're going to be using some adhesive from the Dollar Tree. So I snagged this at the Dollar Tree. You guys know that my absolute favorite is the Tombow adhesive. I'll have it linked down below in case you guys want to use that. But if you guys have snagged any of this from the Dollar Tree, I want to put it to use today. So we're going to test this out. This is my first go on. And then as you can see, both colors of the cardstock. So let's go ahead and jump on over here to the, I'm going to share my screen really quickly. All right, so as you guys can see here, this is the file that I'm using today. So this is our 3D explosion box. And we're going to be able to, it's such an easy SVG, you're just able to cut it out. Now, what the instructions gives you here is it's going to tell you to use this photo right here. So this photo actually shows you your fold lines. You guys can see how those are folded. So I know that like right here, I need to put a score line here. I'm going to need them on all of the squares, if you will, but on these pieces here, you can see right here on the top box and then right here. Now, I know some of you guys, as well as myself, sometimes this is just not enough information. So I thought one of these tutorials here, you guys maybe find it helpful here. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and switch you guys over to Cricut Design Space just so I can show you guys a few tips and tricks over there. All right, so now that we're over here in Cricut Design Space, this is where I've cut it out. So I could go ahead and show you guys really quick the one I want to show you. So this one right here, I'm going to click on Edit. This is the layer. So when you go to cut it out, it's going to layer it with the colors, and then it's going to, layer it with what pieces fit best. Now, what this is already set up is it thinks I'm using 12 by 12 sheets of paper. So what I need to do is I only have 8.5 by 11 cardstock. Now, if you have 12 by 12, perfect. But if you guys have 8.5 by 11 like me, you guys are going to have to play with this just a little bit. So when this first came in here, Cricut loaded it for us. They had it set like this. And then this one over here. So that was actually going over by that 11. Even if I move it here, that 8.5 by 11 is still going to go over. So what I did here, just to show you guys for future reference, if you actually take something like this that's kind of squared off, if you rotate it like this, you're actually going to get a little bit of room. Scooting it over there, you can see now I can bring this little guy over here. And then I may need to manipulate it a little bit more. I'm going to tilt it back here. Until I went a little bit too far there, tilt it back until I can get it to play in here right within that 11 line. So I think I need to move this just a tiny bit more. You guys can kind of see that little bit of a gap. This perfectly allows me to load it on that 8.5 by 11. And that was the only sheet that I needed to fuss with. So I hope that you guys gain a little bit of tips through that. Other than that, I just chose heavy cardstock. I could have definitely chose the medium, but I liked mine to be perfect. So I use the heavy. So let's go ahead and put it together. All right, so now that I showed you what file we've used and also showing you guys how, just a little quick tip inside of Cricut Design Space. Other than that, like I said, I just brought it in the size that I needed it. I changed the color, every other color to this, so that way I knew all of these pieces here were going to be the lighter color and all of these file pieces were going to be the darker color, and then literally just took it to cut it out. So super duper easy. Now, to put this together, we need to start by creating those score lines. And like I said, we're going to use our paper trimmer. If you guys have a scoreboard, definitely feel free to use that. You can definitely, the Dollar Tree has these little guys right here. These things will also help you kind of score here. So what I could do is bring this guy in like so. I could take something with a straight edge, no matter what it is. So for example, I'm going to just show you here using a straight edge like this. I could use my little squeegee tool, and then I could take this little tool here and create that perfect score line. So hopefully you guys can pick that up there, and then I would be able to perfectly bend that. So lots of different ways to do this. You don't have to have a scoreboard. You just need something, not with a sharp tip, but something that you can use like this. Once again, I picked these up from the Dollar Tree as well, 2 in a pack. All right, but today we're going to use that Cricut little score tool. Now, if you guys purchase yourself one of these paper trimmers here, we're not actually using the blade. So if you guys purchase it, you guys are going to notice that it comes with one that has a score tip on it. So this little black one here. Now, I don't know if you guys know, this may be another little tip for you guys today. On the back of your paper trimmer, if you will, you're going to notice these spots here. And what it is, you're going to put your blade or your scoring tool face down, and then you're simply going to slide them in and they just pop in. This is going to hold your spare blades, which are gray, and then it's going to hold your scoring blade, which is black right here as well. So if you guys did not know that, it does hold those for you. So like I said, it comes with it when you first purchase it. You may have tossed it in a drawer or something like that. You can purchase extras if need be. What we're going to do is we are going to flip this guy up. So if you guys are wondering how to change these out, you're going to learn something again. So what you're simply going to do, flipping it upside down, holding my back piece here, I can simply just pop this right off, keeping my finger off of that blade. Get your fingernail underneath there. It's going to simply pop off like so. And then I'm going to just pop this guy. So you're just going to snap it, pushing on both sides. And now our scoring blade is in here. So once again, we're not using the cutter, because if we do, it's going to cut our paper in half. But the scoring tool is not going to. So you can see I can put my finger on there. So now I'm going to store this little guy away so I don't lose it right there. All right. So let me scoot some of these pieces out of our way so we can get ready to start our scoring pieces here. All right, so now that we've made a little bit of room here, so what we're going to do, so you can see I've already made that little score line for this one. So all I simply have to do is line this up so I can get it right on that line so I can precisely see where it's going. So I'm just lining the edge of this up with the edge of this, right? And then we take that little scoring tool and I can simply just zip across, just pushing down. You can run across a couple times if need be. And you see how it gave us that perfect score line. Hopefully you guys are picking that up there. So all you have to do is just fold it. So that's all we're going to do here. So we're just going to go ahead and line it up just like so and score. We just got to do it one more. So this little tool here just makes it so easy to do stuff like this. So you don't always have to use that scoring stylus. I feel like this saves time, compared to just loading that. So while I'm cutting out my next piece, I could be scoring these pieces. So you're just going to repeat that same process. Now, whenever it comes to this little guy right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up. And just making sure everything looks nice and straight, I'm going to create a score line across here. So I stop myself right up here at the top of this before I hit this layer. And then I'm going to rotate it, and I'll do the same thing. So I'm just kind of making sure everything is nice and straight here. And then going up, once again, I kind of stop myself up there. If you go up there, it's going to be fine. It's not going to hurt anything. All right, so rotate, and then we're going to do it again. And one more time. So once again, the opening for this, I'm lining it up with that scoreboard, if you will. And then these pieces will perfectly fold over just like so. So you're just going to fold one at a time. Because what's going to happen here in just a little bit, so we're going to be able to fold these over. So I actually think we should be able to, I'm going to pop this back down. So I do think, reverting backwards, go ahead and fold all the way back up to the top. Sorry about that. So go ahead and score yourself because those are going to fold. I don't know what I was thinking. Go ahead and score all the way up to the top. So don't stop yourself. Here we go. Boom. So now whenever we go back to do these, this little piece is going to fold over like so. So when we tape this down, we're going to create those corners. So you guys see that going together there? And then you see that corner folds over, coming together nicely. All right, there we go. So I will show you our next one here, and then I'll quickly speed this up and I'll do the last two. So for these ones here, we need to line it up. So where I'm going to line it up is this spot right here. So at the end of those hearts, so I'm lining those up. So basically it's the top edge pieces of these. So I'm going to line those up at the tops. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to score. So I'm going to go ahead and score all the way to this point right here. And then, which I think, I mean, honestly, I really think I can just score all the way across. It's not going to hurt anything. And then I'm going to rotate it. Once again, lining up these corners here with this opening here. And then we're going to score. And we're going to get it again, just like so. I hope you guys, even if you guys are not going to recreate this, once again, hopefully you guys are learning something new today and gaining some inspiration. All right, so there's that. So you guys can see our fold lines for this piece here. Hopefully you guys are gathering that. But I need to also get us a score line right inside of here. Now, this score line right here is actually coming inward. So what I can actually do is flip it over. And I'm going to take that heart. And we're going to get, I'm going to get one on each side. So basically I'm getting the very center of this V here. I'm going to bring this guy up to this corner here. So what I did was I came to this little corner piece here and slid up. And we'll repeat that same thing. So like I said, I flipped it over and now I'm doing it from this side. So I'm just trying to, and I could probably line up just to make sure I'm going right down the center to this. I'm going to line up this one as well because I'm going to show you something so we can knock out both sides at once. So I'm going to start here and go up, keeping it here. I'll come down here and go up. So see, I was able to get both sides. So if I would have done that same thing for here, we would line that one and then this one. And so boom, I'd already did the other side. So there we go. So ultimately, what's happening is these ones are going to fold. So we're going to go over here and fold all of our pieces. So we're going to do this. So like I said, I flipped it back over to the first side we worked on. Folding everything over just like that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back. See how that's already wanting to fold? So we're folding it in. So we folded these like this. These hearts are folding in like this. So I'm able to squeeze that. And then we're going to do that same thing. So it's important that once you score one side for the whole square, you flip it over and do the hearts. So you should perfectly see that those are going to want to flip in. Because if you do this side of the heart, it's going to want to flip out. So hopefully you guys can see it's super duper easy to do, and we're able to do it with our Cricut paper trimmer. So there we go. So this little piece is done. So once again, all I have left is these little pieces right here. All right, there we go. So we're going to fold our very last ones here so quickly, easy peasy. And so now that we have all of these scored, now if you guys were using a scoreboard, you'd be doing the same thing, lining it up and using that score. So there is that. All right, so now we've got all of our pieces here. And as you can see, what we need to do now is figure out biggest to smallest, okay? So we're going to line these guys up like so. So it's going to be the same thing with our square pieces. We need to do the exact same thing. So we have our bigger ones here, right? And then we have our medium, medium, small, because these ones are actually going to go on here like so, okay? So they're going to go just like this. So we're going to start on these ones here. So what we need to do is start gluing those pieces down. So I'm going to go ahead and attach all of these pieces here. So we're just going to go ahead and you can do it from this side or this side. I'm just going to get a little zigzag of glue. I think I may possibly have to come in here with a needle and a poke of this. So hopefully I can use my little weeding tool here, a little pin. There we go. Now I think we've got it. All right, so now that I've got some adhesive on here, I'm going to go ahead and just carefully line this up. So I'm trying to make sure I'm staying right inside the very center of our box. So each layer, you just want to keep it right there in the center of the box and not get too far down because you don't want it to not be able to fold. So what I'm going to do is you can, like I said, go on this and just kind of scribble down. And I am having issues, I will tell you, with this Dollar Tree. I think if I had a regular needle, I don't have one. I was trying to use my pen here. I really need to poke a better hole down in here to really get that going. So I definitely don't think it's really the glue per se, but I need a little needle if I had one. But what we're going to do is just continue to layer these pieces just like so, like this. All right, go ahead and come back in here to our next one. Once again, I'm kind of going from center all the way out. And then we're going to go ahead and get our next one. There we go. Now, depending on if you're gluing, so if I'm going to glue the base of this one down right here, then you don't need this square because this square is going to cover right here. All right. Now, if you're just going to be popping these in and they're going to be pulling them out in layers, then you don't need that. And that's what we're going to do today. But if you wanted to glue these in where it all stuck together, you would just skip this square, put this down. But we're not going to do that. So we're going to go ahead and keep on going. So I'm going to get me some more adhesive right in here. And just get it right there in the center. So there is our first one. So we're going to go ahead and come back in. So like I said, we have our next layer here, and I'm going to do that very next thing here. All right, and then this one only has one more. So this one right here, we're actually going to go ahead and glue. I'm going to go ahead and glue this one down here just to show you. So I'm going to go ahead and just get some glue in the center there and then center this guy up. So you really want to try to keep this nice and centered and then rub down. So now this guy's attached to this. So we're going to go ahead and keep going here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this box here. This one here, here. So it's a pretty quick project. I know it seems a little bit scary when you first look at it, but it is super easy to assemble. You don't always have to have your Cricut do those score lines. So never panic. You can always do this stuff on your own. So you guys can see these pieces are going together. While I'm going along, which making sure everything's still kind of folding up nicely like so. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to work on our little next layer here. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this one in here. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and... All right. So we've got our last little square right here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and keep this one separate as well. And it's going to go right here inside the box. So if you're keeping them separate, they're just kind of going in there. So this is going to go in here like so. Now we're not doing any sort of gluing these pieces together because this is part of our explosion. That lid's going to hold it shut like this. Okay. So this is part of that explosion that happens like this with these pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and come in here to our lid so you guys can see our little score lines, right? So what we're going to do is we're just going to add some glue right here and then hold this down. So I'm going to kind of hold it for just a second. This glue does take a little bit longer. Now with something like this, obviously it's just kind of laying there, but whenever it comes to your corners, you may just need to hold those and give them just a few seconds. So I will say with this Dollar Tree, if you're wanting to grab something while you're there, it's definitely, it's going to glue. But with my Tombow, I love it because it glues instantly and I'm not really having to kind of hold down like this. So I really do love that. But if you hold it, you've seen I didn't have to hold it very long and it did work. So for $1, you really, truly cannot beat that. And I do believe if I had a better little needle point to poke that, I wouldn't have had any issues at all. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get our next corner here and hold it for a few seconds. This is a ton of fun. This is a great project. If you guys are wanting something, if you're like me and you like a little bit of a challenge, this is such a fun project, and it truly is easy to put together. Once again, this would be so cute to for graduation. So you could put, you know, somebody, all the little kiddos' photos over the last, you know, year through school. So you have preschool and kindergarten, you know, 1st through 12th. Put all of their graduation photos in here, maybe put a little bit of cash right here in the middle, and then it's going to all explode when they go to open it. Perfect for Mother's Day, Valentine's Day. So this was labeled Valentine's Day because it's shaped as a heart, but definitely not only geared for Valentine's. So you guys can definitely use this, like I said, for Mother's Day and things like that. Now, I also want to point out that I did fold these on the outside, and I would have actually, looking back now, I would actually fold them on the inside. So when I go to glue it, instead of popping them all on the outside like this, I would have put them on the inside. So I would definitely do that. And then you should not see any of these pieces here. It should be one smooth surface. So that's something I would definitely change there. And I do believe they show it correctly on the photo, but you know, I'm going by my own rules here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pop that on. And so once again, you just add your photos in here. And then once you've got those, you're just going to fold this little guy up like this. All right, like that. And then you're going to take your box. You definitely want to make sure your lid is nice and dry, or it's probably going to undo it because it's kind of pulling against it. And then your lid will sit on here perfectly like so. You see this? Is this not the cutest little thing ever? So I'm going to go ahead and pop our lid off. So I'm going to set it down just like this. Somebody would pop their lid off like this and it should explode on them. So it's really cool. And then they can pull all of these little pieces out like so. It's really neat. But once again, you could definitely, you know, fill this up with money or whatever you want to with glitter. Somebody may get angry with you, but you could definitely do more like confetti, not necessarily glitter, but confetti would be super cute as well to create. Like a butterfly one would be adorable. And you may need to manipulate it, play with it just a little bit so it explodes better every single time. You know, just continue to play with that paper, work with that paper, and it's just going to explode better and better every single time. But as you guys can see here, it is so easy to make, and I truly hope you guys are going to recreate this. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you guys decide to recreate these projects, make sure you guys use #design_bundles so we can check them out. If you guys enjoyed this, please hit the like button down below and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.